and welcome back, Firewood Addicts, to another episode of Travis Does Firewood. Today, we're going to solve a problem. Do it. So, on my channel, I maintain that I need to stack my wood. I need to stack my wood, I need to cover my wood. It just doesn't work piled up, at least where I live, okay? So, and here's an example, and I'll give you two, okay? I'll give you two. See right here, we have maple here, that's seasoning, and the balance of the maple that was, so this was covered, this part here, and this part of the roof, quote unquote, roof was not, okay? So, this was the balance of the maple, and that was like, this is uncovered. So I think some of this here has mold on it. This spruce here, this stuff here is dirty. Like you can tell, like look at here, look at that. That's mold. That here is mold. There's mold spots here, mold right there, mold on the ends, because this part here, granted, it was stacked, but it wasn't covered. So over the summer, I thought it would be fine. I'm pretty sure I got this spruce from the neighbor. I don't know. I'll link it up above here. When I got this and I came home in the process, I believe right away. I could be wrong. But regardless, the point is, it was stacked, but it wasn't covered. It's dry, but it has mold on it, which sucks. I don't want to sell wood with mold on it. It's just, it's a marker of not being quality, and people would think like, well, this is the health issue. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. I'll give you another example right now. All right, so right here, this spot right here contained some wood, okay? And it was never really covered, even though I have this cover here and this cover over here. This spot that I had the wood covered, stacked here, was never covered. And then the leaves came, it had leaves on it, debris, so wood was dirty. I'll show you the wood in a second. But I wanted to let you know where the wood came from. It came from right here. Now, why I didn't cover it, I don't know. Like, I know it's one thing that when you get wood in the wood yard, you buck it up, you split it up right away. Sometimes you buck it up and you split it and you stack it, or you pile whatever you do with your wood to let it dry and season. I didn't cover it. My yard is such a Charlie Foxtrot of makeshift shelters and tarps, and it looks terrible, and I'm embarrassed by it. So no doubt about it, I need to fix that in the near future. Including, I need to make sure that when I split wood, it needs to be covered. Period, right away. Because if I don't do it right away, then I probably won't do it. So that's another thing, is to be motivated to make sure that if you know that you need to cover your wood, to cover it. So let me show you the wood that I have and how we're gonna make a solution. All right, so the wood we have, I believe this wood is alder, which I'm told is one of the woods that it potentially could be used for smoking meats, right? Yeah, anyway. And so this is the wood that was stacked there, and I guess I neglected to cover it for whatever reason. And now you see, like, there's mold growing right here and some discoloration on it. And it's just on there too. On the bark, there's some mold. You see right here. Now, I had to look this up. There are bunch of you, especially for like black mold, if you have black mold on firewood, that burning it or handling it could release the spores, and that could cause issues over time, which is kind of ironic, because I just put out a video about my son having lung issues. This wood I'm not burning in my house. I'm sure some wood would get moldy for whatever reason. I think that happens, and I think that people just would burn it. So so per my research on Dr. Google, they were saying that when you handle it or burn it, it could release these spores, and that could create issues. I'm not sure if like over time or instantly, or if you're sensitive to asthma or whatever, you could cough or get sick. Okay, so there's that side. Other side is, well, any mold that's on the firewood is going to burn off when you burn it, which that makes sense to me. So so that's that said, right? Now this wood that was in that spot, it was wet. It was wet, but I know it was dry over the summer. So what I did was I took this wood and I literally did what Russ over at Willie's Firewood does with his mini splits, is I stacked it on like a roller cart shelving thing and put it in front of my wood stove. And for like several days, and now it's dry. It's dry now. It was wet, now it's dry, because sadly, I mean, I guess it's not sadly, it's good, kind of, I'm in desperate need of dry firewood to sell. I have doubled my I don't know, my gross. Anyway, I doubled my sales in terms of money made since last year, and I didn't take in as much wood over the summer, which is a bummer. So now I'm thinking that I may need to buy firewood and flip to sell at the firewood stand. So this is why I'm trying to salvage this wood, because right now it looks like crap. It will burn, but it just looks dirty, and with the mold on it. And I don't want to sell moldy wood. This is not a good professional look to it. I want to be known by selling quality firewood, and I'm still evolving what that means and what that means to my customers and how I sell. So what I'm trying to do here in this episode is share with you just a quick, I don't know, it's not perfect. And you can definitely say, Travis, moldy wood, don't sell it, like you're a bad seller, you're a bad person. You can put that in the comments. That's all fair. But I was using this wood for my bundles and my rack wood. So what I did is, this is a wire brush, and I found the mold spots, and I've just been like brushing them out and getting rid of it, just so it's not as obvious to the customer. And I think that is working fairly well, especially on the bark here. Now the bark, this is, I don't know, this bark reminds me of cottonwood bark, because it's very stringy bark and different holds in a lot of moisture. So just by doing a quick little brushing of it makes it, in my opinion, sellable. I mean, not everyone has lung issues, and I'm not saying this is cleaning it or sanitizing it or killing the the mold. I'm saying it's not as obvious and apparent to customers. Well, you know what? I just may as well take this bark off. This bark is nasty. I don't like this bark. So that's that. Still a little bit more. Little brushy brush. Little brushy brush. And now it's cleaner wood. Now this definitely takes time. If I had to do this every single time I had to refill the firewood stand, that would suck. So therefore, in the future, I want to make sure that all the firewood that I am processing, ready to be stored out and to be seasoned naturally, it's going to be covered. So that looks a lot better. Not obvious mold. And there you go. So does that make me an untrustworthy firewood seller? You tell me. I mean, have you done the same? Have you taken wood that looked bad or seemed bad and done something to it to make it look better? I don't think I'm being unethical here, but you let me know your stance. Is this something right? Would you do this the same thing? Other types, you could, if you wanted to, take undiluted white vinegar or a half and half of hydrogen peroxide, I believe. I mean, you Google it too. But from what I've read, you do that where you spray it on the wood, let it sit for like an hour, and then scrub it off, and that would kill the spores and the mold and whatever else, and that would be fine. Well, I didn't do that. I don't. It's one thing to let it sit and dry out for the wood stove, but wait another few hours to sanitize it or to kill it off, I think is just one more step that I'm not willing to do. But you be the judge. Let me know down in the comments what you would do. I don't want to sell wood that, I mean, there's a little bit of mold like right here, this whiteness, just a little scrub. It's gone, and it's in my opinion, it's now sellable. It's now sellable wood, and now I can put that in a bundle and sell a bundle. It's so taking potentially toxic wood, and be able to sell it. Does that change your opinion of how I operate? Does it change your opinion of me? Does it make you cringe? Is this something that totally makes sense? You do the same thing. It's not like lying to the customer. I don't think it's being unfair, unfavorably, lying. It's not like I put like a warning like firewood. People know firewood's dirty. It's dirty. You're always going to get debris falling off. But I think that at least making the effort to make it look nice or nicer and selling it, I think that that's okay. But you be the judge. Let me know down in the comments what you think about taking wood that has mold on it, but now it's dried out. I think it's different. If the wood was wet and had mold on it, or fungus or fungi on it, that would be a red flag. That would be a big no-no. You don't want to do that. But if the wood was wet, got the mold on it, got the fungi on it, and then from there was seasoned, dried out, good to go, ready to burn, but it still had that moss and fungi on it, what do? You let me know in the comments. Would you throw it away? Would you give it to your neighbors? Would you give it as a holiday gift to your crazy uncle? Or would you try to salvage it? Try to wipe it off, sanitize it, a rag or scrub brush, a wire brush, whatever Google or your neighbor says, or somewhere on YouTube. I'm not the only channel that has run into mold on firewood, especially when it was stacked. This is the way that it happens where I live. It rains a lot, and you have to have things covered so things can dry it out and stay dry, and not just wet all the time, which is why this got moldy. Anyway, I want to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is it being unethical? Is it being shady? Or is it just make sense and you do the same? Less obvious mold. I mean, I don't want to sell wood that's obviously had mold on it. People look at it like, why did I buy this? I can go to the gas station and also get moldy wood. I don't want to buy his moldy wood. But if it's not obviously moldy and most people would be not affected by any spores, I see rock and roll. Anyway, you let me know in the comments your thoughts. Just look at this lame bark. I'm not a fan. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I appreciate you turning in. Until next time, life's too short to be a prick, so be kind to one another. Rock and roll, stay safe, and keep cutting. Cheers.